Hey, what's up, bestie? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm just going to show you how I make this closure look just like scalp, like it's your own. You hear me? Okay, so if you want to find out how I do that, make sure you keep watching. Now let's go to the intro real quick. Pooh. All right, guys, so welcome back. So as you see here, I have a front lace wig unit here that I'm going to bleach the knots on. And I also have the closure unit, which will be the focal point of this video. And I'm going to show you how to bleach the knots and turn them from that black look to the natural brown look that you see in everybody's head. So of course you need your gloves. Then you need some powder bleach. You can get the package, you can get the big bucket. I got this big bucket for I think 30 bucks at the beauty supply store. You'll also need some volume 30 developer. That's what I use. Some people prefer to use volume 10, but I just prefer to use volume 30 just because it gets done quicker. And a bowl and of course a brush. Now the bleach comes with this little blue scoop thing, which helps you to measure out the bleach and just enough. So I'm going to start by filling the bleach scoop all the way up. I'm not leveling it or anything, just filling it up. I'm just dumping that over into my bowl. Now to bleach a closure, you only need about a scoop and a half. Really one scoop will do, but I prefer to have more than to not have enough. So I tend to literally do half a cup and one whole cup of bleach. And once you have your powdered bleach measured out, you're going to take the cap from the developer and use that to measure your developer. I think here I used about 3 or 4 capfuls. You can use more or less. Normally I would just dump it over, but for the sake of the video, I wanted to measure to make sure I didn't put too much in there. So once you measure it out and you put your developer in there, you want to stir it around, stir it around, stir it around. And you see here it's still some loose powder. So that means I don't have enough. That means I need to add some more. But the goal here is to try and get it to I guess, an icing type of consistency, like the type of icing that you're putting on a cake. Like you just put it in the refrigerator and you took it out. Now it's kind of thick. So once I get the right portion of my bleach versus my developer, what I do is I use my brush to just scoop some of it up and I count to 5. And if it falls within 5 seconds, that means I need to add more bleach to it, as you see that I'm doing here. If it doesn't fall within that 5 seconds, it means that it's good. So now I'm just going to mix it up until it's about that icing consistency. Before it was a little bit looser than I preferred for my liking. Okay, so now it's finally time to bleach the closure. Now, when I bleach my closures, I mostly focus on the perimeter, especially that front part, just to make sure that it lifts how I want it to lift. And I'm going to be very generous with the product. Do not be afraid to use the product. And you want to use some pressure, like not too much pressure to where it will seep through and get onto the strands of the hair, but just enough to where it spreads the product evenly, if that makes sense. Going to flip the closure over and lay it down on a flat surface and let it sit for about 10 minutes. Some people think that just because you're using a volume 30 developer, you have to use 30 minutes, but really you just do it until the knots lift to your liking, okay? So of course, using that 1.5 scoop of bleach, I had some left over. So I'm just going to add about another half a scoop in, a little bit more developer, and I'm going to use the remaining bleach just to go ahead and bleach this wig that I had over here. I'll do a separate video on how to bleach and pluck a wig unit. It's pretty much the same. You want to make sure that the bleach consistency is about an icing texture or consistency, and then you want to apply it with force but also gently all the way through, focusing on the roots or the front of the lace. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can really tell or see on the camera, but you can see how it lifted from that dark black knotty look to, I guess, a light brown color. So I'm just going to take my Shimmer Lights shampoo and conditioner. It's a purple shampoo and conditioner that gets rid of like the orange tones or that bronzy look that you see in some people's closures. And I'm just going to wash it out with that. So first I'm going to wash it out with the shampoo just one time. And then I'm going to take some of the conditioner and I'm going to let it sit on the closure for about 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm just gonna wash that conditioner off of the lace. Make sure you get all of that conditioner off of the lace, because although this is kind of like a toner and it cancels out the orange tones, what'll happen if you leave it on there too long, it will stain the lace purple, just like a hair color would. Okay, bestie, let me find out. You got here making closures look like scalp and stuff. We almost there. We getting somewhere. It looks a lot natural than it did before. I'm proud of you, girl. Or, you know, I'm proud of you, boo. Okay, so now it is time for the plucking, which is the part that I honestly hate the most, just because it is so tedious. Sometimes you can over pluck, sometimes you cannot pluck enough. Like, it's just really trial and error. You kind of have to find your motion. So I'm just going to take my head. My mannequin head is a 22-inch head. You can order it from Amazon. If you don't have a head, you can put it on a styrofoam head. Shoot, really anything that you have around the house that's flat that will allow you to see your closure base, okay? So you're just going to take it on there and you're going to put 2 pins in the front and 1 in the back, or you can choose not to pin the back. So y'all see that I combed the hair back. If for some reason you let your closure dry, you got tired after you bleached it, just use some foam wrap and apply it right to the front. Comb it through just like you saw me combing it through before. I like the Nairobi. You can use any type of foam wrap or mousse, something that will just wet the hair, because to me it plucks better when it's wet. So now I'm just going to take like, I guess, an inch or like a finger width of hair and part that section out. And that's where I'm going to start my plucking, behind that inch. So of course you're going to need some tweezers if you want to do some good plucking. One of my favorite pair of tweezers is my Kiss tweezers that I think I found at like the beauty supply store somewhere, but they are one of the best pair of tweezers out there, I'm telling you. And I'm just going to pluck behind the line. I'm never going to pluck on the actual part because I don't want to pull too many pieces of hairs out. No, I'm not going to pluck forward, okay guys? Like I said, we're going to pluck behind the line. So what you're doing is you're pinching and pulling, pinching and pulling, pinching and pulling. You don't want to stay in one area too long, but you do want to make sure you're pulling enough from each section, okay? So once I feel like I plucked enough on this part, I'm just going to take my comb to comb out those. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I'm going to take my comb and I'm going to comb out the pieces that I just pulled out, okay? Okay, so I just want y'all to check it out before. Y'all see how it's going like straight across? Y'all see that? It's not going to look like that in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pluck in front of the line now. You know what I'm saying? Before I was plucking behind it. And now that I'm on the front of the hairline, I'm going to pluck in front of that line. And you just pretty much are going to pluck like, let me see, how do I explain it? You're not going to pluck in a straight line. If it looks like it's still forming a straight line, pull that piece out. So just keep pulling hair until it doesn't look like a straight line anymore. That's the best way I know how to explain it. So you see the difference on the left side. I guess it's like the left side of your screen and the right side. You can tell which side has been plucked really good and which side hasn't been plucked. So there you have it, y'all. I don't pluck the whole thing. I think I want to go back in and just pluck a little bit more, but you can leave it like this if you want to. I just want it to look a little bit more tapered. Now I'm just going to go through and pluck the part that I want. Sometimes I'll wait until I put the closure on the client's head to pluck it. But since this particular closure is for a closure wig that I'm going to make later on, I'm going to go ahead and pluck the closure unit before I sew it down. So as you see, I've already parted it in the middle how I want it. And I'm just going to take every piece that I see in the way and just pull it out on that part. If you see a piece of hair, pull it out until you have a straight part. Like it should be a straight part of nothing but lace. There should be no piece of hair is in the way. So yeah, there we go. We don't pluck the part, bleached and pluck the closure. You see how every step makes a difference. Now this last and final step is going to be major, guys. So pay close attention, okay? Y'all see how natural that looks already? We still got like 1 or 2 more steps we're going to do, and then this closure will be complete. I hope you guys have had some help so far. Let me know in the comment section below if this video has been helpful to you at all. Okay, so this is the final step to, I guess, the preparation for your closure. To me, this is the most important step because this is what really makes your closure look like scalp. You're going to use your foundation or your client's foundation, of course, something that blends with their scalp or something close to their skin tone. I'm using the 322 Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I like Maybelline because they have the matte and the dewy finish, so you can really go either way. You can find their perfect tone. And I'm also going to use a brush. Now I have a brush for dark makeup and a brush for light makeup. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that foundation on the back of my hand. Of course, starting out with a little bit because you can always add more later instead of doing too much to begin with and having to put the product back in the jar, which is unsanitary. So just like I did with the bleach, I'm going to focus on that hairline of the closure and the part of the closure. You can just watch. You can see exactly how I do it. I kind of had a hard time doing it because I was doing it with one hand and trying to record at the same time. As you see, I dropped it. But yeah, here we go. Okay, so now that I've prepped the bottom lace of the closure, I'm just going to take this flat, short brush and I'm going to dip it into the remainder of the foundation on the back of my hand and just go in and define my part with that. This is going to make that part three-dimensional, which is going to make it look like it's really your scalp. So now I'm going to take that same brush and that same little bit of makeup that's left on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to brush that over the front of the hairline. Please don't be too heavy-handed because you don't want it to look white, you don't want it to look cakey, but you're just going to brush it over those little pieces on the hairline so that when you place it down on their skin and their scalp, of course you already know, it looks like it's their scalp. Okay, so now you should be a pro at bleaching, plucking, and customizing a closure to make it look 100% natural. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Tell a friend to come and check this video out. Subscribe to the channel, become a new bestie. Leave us a comment below and let me know what you like best about this video, what you didn't like about this video. Now, it's your girl, Corsha Lishell, checking in, checking out. Peace out, guys.